If you are wondering if you should purchase a GTX 1660 Ti, this video will show you some real-world performance in AAA titles at 1080p. Released in February of 2019 for just $279, the GTX 1660 Ti is 4 years old now. How has it held up? I picked up this Dell G5 pre-built that had the CPU taken out of it. I threw in an i5-10400F and everything booted up right away. So I tested the Dell OEM model of the 1660 Ti in Cyberpunk 2077, Jedi Survivor, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, Red Dead Redemption 2, and Rocket League. Starting off in Cyberpunk 2077 at 1080p medium settings with motion blur off, the 1660 Ti outperformed my expectations. It was able to hit 73 FPS average with 1% lows of 37. As expected, this pre-built system ran toasty with the GPU hitting 84 degrees and the CPU hitting 86 degrees. CPU utilization was around 65% most of the time. Jedi Survivor at 1080p high settings with film grain and motion blur turned off pumped out a decent 39 FPS average with 1% lows of 19. The CPU ran cooler in this game at 74 degrees, but the 1660 Ti stayed at 84. I bumped the settings down to medium and saw a good performance increase. Average FPS jumped up to 49, but the best improvement was the 1% lows increasing to 32 FPS. Red Dead Redemption 2 handled beautifully at 1080p balanced settings. The 1660 Ti had no problems maintaining a 60 frames per second average, with 1% lows of 31. Modern Warfare 2 ran well at 1080p balanced settings. Average frame rates were at 92 FPS, with 1% lows of 52. The GPU actually ran slightly cooler in this game, hitting 82 degrees Celsius. It would probably really help if Dell had thought to include a front intake fan on the system. To no one's surprise, the 1660 Ti handled Rocket League very well. At 238 frames per second average, the game ran great. I did notice some issues with the 1% lows jumping down to 95 frames per second, but I didn't feel it in the gameplay. Right now you can get the GTX 1660 Ti used on eBay for between $100 and $140 US. That's definitely reasonable value, but I'd try and pick this card up for $100 to maximize the value. I would not purchase this card new as there's much better performance cards out there for the same price, like the Intel RK750 or the RX 6600. Keep in mind that you won't be able to utilize ray tracing with this card if that's something that's important to you. And the 6GB of VRAM will continue to be an issue as games continue to use more and more of it. If you like this video, you may be interested in the video on the screen.